Now, just imagine being in need of blood and you are told that it has to be brought in either from another state or flown in from another country. But that's how rarest null, popularly called golden blood, is rare in every sense of the word. In this special report, senior correspondent Ivy Kano takes a look at what makes this type of blood group special.
Every second around the world, someone somewhere either needs blood or someone is being transfused. And nature has made it possible that the only thing that all humans have in common, irrespective of race, is blood. This means humans are dependent on one another. There are situations where one would need blood for surgery, or one's body, we were told, could also stop producing enough healthy blood for transfusion to be carried out without complications. Cross-match is performed before administration between the receiver and potential donor's blood. Though there are 45 blood group systems, 4 are most common blood groups, but our focus is on rarest null, also known as the golden blood. In the course of doing this report, I'm going to ask Nigerians if they know their blood group and also if they've ever heard about the golden blood.
I am AA and O positive.
AA, yes, is my blood group.
Mine is O positive.
A positive. And I've not done a test for my blood group.
Golden blood? No.
At all? No.
Since it's said that about 50 people are said to have the golden blood in the whole world, who knows, you could have 1 or 2 of those in Nigeria. We'll be heading straight to the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Center at Bagada to find out more information about the golden blood. On getting to Bagada General Hospital, we met the Executive Secretary, Lagos State Blood Transfusion Committee. She breaks down all we needed to know, starting with why it's called the golden blood.
A person with rarest null does not have any of the 49 antigens. They need to be strictly managed. Some of the treatment is for them to do an operation to remove that part of our body that helps us to destroy cells. So the spleen, which is at the left side of the body, sometimes I just have to remove them.
Obvious, there is a reason why golden blood is special.
There's a study that says they are like 1 in 6 million, another said 1 in 10 million. I even saw one in 60 million. But the most important thing is that as at now, we have less than 50 of them in the whole world, of which only 9 of them can donate blood. Because you can't find them anywhere, anyhow. They put them in the rare blood donors register so that when anybody needs such blood, they are called upon to give them blood. Those people with golden blood are unable to have that flexible cells. So the shape of the cells are different and they are also very, very firm. The cells break easily and they have a condition called hereditary stomatocytosis. So such people can present with yellow eyes sometimes. They can present with anemia. Their blood is never adequate. And such people might need to depend on blood. However, these same people cannot receive blood from anybody except people like themselves. And there are very few. So if somebody needs blood, if there is a rarest null in Nigeria, for example, you might have to call Australia for somebody that has that to give us blood. So you see why they're actually called people with the golden blood.
Who are those most likely to be born with this rare type of blood?
Some people, for one reason or the other, their genetic components just malfunctions. You notice that all these less than 50 people, they were offshoots from consanguineous marriages. So people that maybe married their brothers or their cousins, they notice that all of them were offshoots of consanguineous marriages. It could also be that the 2 parents could have given that child that recessive gene.
She admits that more research has to be done on the golden blood in the country, especially for the sake of pediatricians. But is it possible we could have 1 or more people with this blood type in Nigeria, and what could be their fate?
So many healthcare professionals are ignorant about it. So could it be for that reason, we have not even checked or investigated for it, especially for our pediatricians. Because once the child comes, the child is and is having that hemolysis, as in the body is destroying the cells on its own from birth. We could just, if our pediatricians have a high index of suspicion for it, then we might just be able to know. And even in this way, even though we do not have so much capacity to check for the genetic, the genetic abnormality, we can still screen them by having something called the screening cells. Because most of them will die at a young age, because immediately the child is coming in, it's not feeling fine. I know, because it is coming, it's an inheritance. Spiritually, the mother is always giving birth to a child that is dying, the child is always having yellow eyes, he's always having yellow fever. There must be something spiritual about it. And if it's a female that has ended up growing to a particular level, the female might have difficulties in carrying pregnancies. So if you do a job well, by doing a good cross-match, by doing a good antibody screening, you might be able to at least identify that there's an abnormality somewhere, which we now investigate for later. So really, I'm really happy that we've come to talk about this. It came as a shock. What do you want to do with golden blood?
Our crew was taken through the process of blood collection, which begins with a donor registration, then counseling.
So when the donors come in, use our disposable donor couches just to ensure that there is right infection prevention and control measures in place. Do a lot of processing to ensure that a unit of blood saves more than one life.
From there, the grouping and cross-matching section. In the course of doing this report, we realized that some Nigerians do not know the difference between their genotype and blood group. It is also important one has this information stored in the phone. In emergencies, when blood transfusion is needed and the patient's rare blood type is not known, golden blood would come in handy, and that's why it is said to be life-saving. Information has it that anyone found to have the golden blood are treated with care and are advised to live life more carefully. Dr. Shikomaya advised that the federal government opens a national register to help document resource null people if found in the country, knowing how important they are to saving the lives of others. Ivy Kano, TVC News, Lagos.
You're watching TVC News at 10. We have more stories on this special. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still on to our Sunday specials on TVC News at 10. Now, the debate over genetically modified organisms, otherwise called GMOs, is growing louder and even more complex. Now, with diverse opinions and concerns emerging, Uloma Onyemachi in this special report dives deep into the conversation, presenting all perspectives to help the public make informed decisions. The report.
In Nigeria, agriculture is not just an industry, it is the lifeblood of the nation. With a booming population and the challenges of climate change, the country's food production stands on shaky ground. As Nigeria searches for solutions to strengthen its food security, genetically modified organisms or GMOs have emerged as a potential game changer. According to the International Service for the Acquisition of Agri-Biotechnology Applications, over 90% of corn, soybeans and cotton in the United States are genetically modified. Likewise, Brazil's soybean and corn are 95% GMOs, while India's cotton crops also hit the 95% mark, leading to higher yields and a reduced need for pesticides. With the mention of GMO, it provokes mixed feelings amongst Nigerians and also based on viral videos on social media.
Defect of russet Burbank potatoes called net necrosis, and you've seen potatoes with a little brown line sometimes or spots that come through it. Well, McDonald's won't buy them if your potatoes have that, and the only way to eliminate that is
to delve deeper into the topic. I visited the Nigeria Biotechnology and Research Development Agency for an insightful discussion with Dr. Rose Gidado. As a key figure in the Agricultural Biotechnology Department, she elaborated on the agency's view of GMOs as a pivotal solution for Nigeria's agricultural challenges, including low crop yields.
In the history, I think it's over 30 years of consumption of GMs and development and consumption and what. There hasn't been any like negative reports, you know, that so person has eaten it and has died or what. So you have to ensure that safety. That safety is of utmost importance. And because of what is going on in the world, the climate change effects, negative effects, and what is affecting productivity to make life comfortable, to mitigate some of these things.
Dr. Gidado acknowledges the limitations of GMO usage, especially around labeling, and assures efforts to improve transparency.
I have not seen any commercial farmer. Most of them are peasant farmers. They farm and they eat it. Maybe if they are selling, maybe within the villages, maybe 1 or 2 noodles. There is a distance from our own, laxity from our own side. So we need to go into this, do a survey.
The TVC crew, after the sit-down, toured the demonstration plot within the Biotechnology Agency, revealing the clear differences between GMO and traditionally grown crops.
We're here at a unique farm where 2 worlds of agriculture meet head to head under the umbrella of a major food crop in Nigeria, maize. On one side, we see the crop that is grown the traditional way but heavily infested by insects. But then, on this side, we see the latest genetically modified food, which is Stella maize, evidently green and thriving. But which of these crops will go ahead to ensure food security in the coming years? The viewers will make that decision.
Despite the potential of GMOs, skepticism remains among some Nigerians. We set out to see the people I believe feed the nation, farmers. This led us to Wasa, a farming community on the outskirts of Abuja. Farmers like Nicholas and Samuel noted the challenges of replanting GMO crops after harvest.
When you plant them, they will yield faster and they will yield much. But the effect in our body, the chemicals on the ground, is destroying our land.
When you use GMO, it will give you a yield, a particular quantity of yield, but as time goes on, they'll diminish.
Also, farmers like Victor and Simon argue that infrastructure, market access and insecurity are more urgent issues to face in order to boost food security.
Most of us, we are just consumer production because we don't have the capacity to do the economic farming.
Sometimes we farm, you see the farm is doing well. Then when you come in, you see that cows and goats, they will come, spoil the whole things.
Opposition to GMOs adds even more complexity to the debate. To gain a balance on the subject, I spoke with Mr. Amwa, Executive Director of the Center for Food Safety and Agricultural Research, who outlined the risk and environmental concerns associated with GMOs.
This company that championed or pioneered the genetic modification technology, which is Monsanto, when farmers now plant the seeds obtained from this company, which they tagged as RR soy, for example, which is Roundup Ready soybeans. When you apply Roundup, which active ingredient, most prominent active ingredient was glyphosate and is still glyphosate, the soybeans will survive. If it is maize, Roundup Ready, maize will survive. Every other green weed will die. On one hand, people are the ignorance of the public is being preyed upon. On the other hand, profiteering that will bring big money into those that are pushing and promoting for this.
The Deputy Director of the Center also challenged NAFDA's assurances, calling for caution and healthier alternatives.
It was also said that the planting of transgenic maize in Mexico is a historic crime against the people of Mexico. Against their maize, their biodiversity, their food sovereignty. We are seeing a lot of illnesses today. People eat very little and they're becoming obese. And they're wondering, why am I not losing weight? People are having autoimmune diseases. You're seeing turbo cancer, you're seeing juvenile diabetes, lots of illnesses. So in interrogating the source of these illnesses, we are narrowing it down to what has changed over the past 20, 30 years. And one of the new things that we are seeing, one of the new phenomena that have come on the scene is genetically modified foods.
To add a nutritional perspective to the story, I spoke with Mary Makonjola, a nutritionist based in Abuja. She emphasized that there is no scientific evidence linking GMOs to nutritional deficiencies.
Scientifically, there's no really evidence to say that, oh, if you take GMO foods, this is going to happen or this is not going to happen. Although there can be some slight differences in the parameters in terms of maybe if you're checking for protein level, for example, you're checking for carbohydrate level based on the purpose of why that plant is being formed.
A 2021 United Nations FAO report highlights that while GMOs can boost agricultural productivity and food security, but with a caution, their use must be strictly regulated to protect people and the environment. To reinforce this, I spoke with Nigeria's Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, who promised me that public health will always be a priority as the government works to secure the nation's food supply.
All what I can say is the Nigerian government cares about its people and it will not do anything that will harm its people.
The GMO debate involves not just experts but everyday Nigerians. We took a visit to a popular market in Abuja, Garki Market, where some Nigerians expressed a desire for more information on the issue.
When you add chemicals to food, which is not healthy for humans, I think it has to go through the normal process. If it goes through the normal process, I don't have an issue with it.
Awareness, yes, so that we know much about food, because like somebody like me, I eat anything that I see, anything eatable, I eat it, so I don't mind.
As Nigeria grapples with the challenges of food security, the debates around GMOs continue to intensify. We've heard from government officials, farmers, and even everyday Nigerians, all with divided opinions. Some see it as a solution, while others are concerned about the health risk it may pose. The question remains, is GMO able to feed the nation, or does it have more risk than rewards? Uloma Oyemachi, TVC News, Abuja.
Many questions, but only you have the answer to decide in that report. Well, that's where we have to end tonight's edition of our Sunday special on TVC News at 10. For more updates on the stories we are monitoring, you can visit our website, tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. On YouTube, we're live at TVC News Nigeria. Many thanks for watching, and on behalf of the team, have a pleasant night rest.